Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 351 based on novel. So let's start. Every several hundred years, the rank 9 region forms an army of cultivators to send to help fight against the fierce beasts from the mysterious star system. Perhaps it won't be long before Qianmei will have to go as well. Li Qianmei's blue hair fluttered and a few strands were caught by her right hand as she smiled. Wang Lin silently pondered. If that day comes, Brother Lu has to send Qianmei off. Li Qianmei blinked and chuckled. That smile was beautiful like a blooming orchid, with a sense of grace and elegance. That beautiful face was similar to Lu Yanfei's, who stood on top of her pavilion and silently watched when Wang Lin left the continent of Mo Luo. There was also her soft voice. I hope Senior comes to the 100-year competition that will occur in the main sect. With Lu Yanfei's intelligence, she could tell that the continent of Mo Luo couldn't keep Wang Lin. This was, after all, only a foothold, and he was just a passerby. She knew he was going to leave after resolving the matter with the Origin sect. His departure had happened almost immediately after the disaster with the Purple Dao sect had been resolved. Once he leaves, she probably won't see him return. The blue-haired woman that left with Wang Lin also caught Lu Yanfei's eyes, and she gradually lowered her head. Wang Lin saw this scene and heard this. He couldn't look back and shouldn't have looked back as he flew far away. But just as he was about to depart the continent of Mo Luo, Wang Lin's words were like a gentle breeze that lifted Lu Yanfei's hair. I will. At this moment, Wang Lin looked at Li Qianmei, who was already at the late stage of Nirvana Shatterer but didn't have the slightest hint of arrogance and was like a next-door little sister. He listened to her talking about the secrets of the rank 9 region. He listened to her talk about the war with the fierce beasts. He listened to her asking him to send her off. Wang Lin pondered a bit before he nodded and whispering, I will. Li Qianmei smiled. When she smiled, her eyes were like the crescent moon. On the second day of the auction, Wang Lin and Li Qianmei arrived outside of Pang Lai. Li Qianmei used her Dao spell to turn her hair black. This made it so she wouldn't have to worry about being recognized. The black-haired Li Qianmei was even more elegant. Her standing next to Wang Lin attracted the attention of many surrounding cultivators. The treasured Jade sect had placed a lot of disciples around Pang Lai to receive the arriving cultivators. After paying the fee, they would open the formation and allow the cultivators inside. This was the first time Wang Lin had seen a cultivation planet since he came to the Cloud Sea, even if it was only half of one. However, compared to the shock other cultivators experienced when they saw a cultivation planet, Wang Lin was extremely calm. In the Cloud Sea, a majority of cultivators had never seen a cultivation planet before, only floating continents. The shock of seeing a cultivation planet for the first time always showed on their faces. However, to Wang Lin, a cultivation planet really wasn't much. He was born on a cultivation planet, he had accepted his teacher on a cultivation planet, and in all heaven, he even had his own cultivation planet. There was no need to talk about the large star field within the Vermilion Bird Divine sect. The cultivators of the treasured Jade sect all had some pride because they owned a real cultivation planet. However, before Wang Lin, their pride was really insignificant. As each cultivators paid their spirit stones and entered, it was finally Wang Lin and Li Qianmei's turn. The cultivators stationed here were mostly at the yin and yang stage. However, the cultivator leading them was unexpectedly at the Nirvana Scryer stage. The treasured Jade sect sure has a good name to have a Nirvana Scryer cultivator to welcome people. Wang Lin secretly shook his head. He could easily see through the treasured Jade sect's actions. They were putting on a show of power. After paying the spirit stones, Wang Lin and Li Qianmei entered the continent of Pang Lai. Li Qianmei smiled and whispered, the auction this time is a lot better. Last time I came here, they had a Nirvana cleanser cultivator welcoming people. I thought I was going to another rank 9 sect and forgot that this was only the rank 5 region. Wang Lin silently shook his head. Although people felt that the treasured Jade sect was shameless, Pang Lai was very beautiful. The earth was green and the mortals in the capital cities looked up respectfully at the cultivators flying by. There was a hint of envy in their eyes. There were even majestic mountains and rivers. It was a feast for the eyes. The location of the auction was on the eastern part of Pang Lai. It was a spectacular sight with stones floating in the air and pavilions built on top of them. White clouds filled the sky and surrounded those stones, making the eastern part of Pang Lai look like the celestial realm. The size of these cities built on these rocks were different based on the size of the rocks. There were many of these stones floating there with a large stone in the center. They weren't stationary but slowly rotating. There were also bursts of music and melodies coming out from these stones. However, on top of that, there were even graceful beasts flying between the stones. They would appear and disappear within the clouds. Looking at this, Wang Lin's expression remained the same, but he sighed in his heart. There was a large formation on each of those stones that consumed large amounts of spirit stones every second to remain floating. The treasured jade sect is famous for being wasteful, but although it looks like the celestial realm, it lacks celestial spiritual energy because they are using spirit stones. In the end, it is only an emaciation. Not even the treasured jade sect can afford that many celestial jades, much less origin crystals. Li Qianmai laughed. Hearing Li Qianmai mentioning celestial jades, Wang Lin made a strange face. He had already learned from the records at the origin sect that the Cloud Sea was severely lacking in celestial jades. This was greatly related to the wind celestial realm being occupied by the mosquito beasts. If they couldn't enter, they couldn't get any celestial jades. Even the treasured jade sect only dared to squander spirit stones and were extremely stingy with celestial jades. Even the young master of the Purple Dao sect didn't have 100 pieces of celestial jades in his bag. This was just how rare they were. Similarly, in the Cloud Sea, there was an even more precious resource called the origin crystal. Just like how celestial jades were required for reaching the ascendant stage and yin and yang cultivators used them for their formations and treasures, the origin crystals had even greater for second step cultivators. Origin crystals only existed in the Cloud Sea and were loved by second step cultivators. Absorbing them could rapidly recover origin energy for second step cultivators. They could also drastically increase the rate of cultivating. If you had an origin crystal when setting formations or refining treasures, their power would be increased. However, origin crystals were as rare as celestial jades. The only difference was that the celestial jades were in the wind celestial realm, making them almost impossible to obtain. As for the origin crystals, they were mostly controlled by the rank 8 or higher sects, most of it by the rank 9 sects. All of this was due to the formation of origin crystals. They couldn't be mined but were formed by rank 12 beasts that could turn into fog. After a rank 12 beast has lived inside the star fog for a long time, an origin crystal gradually forms. Only sects and cultivators with rank 12 beasts could farm origin crystals. However, there weren't many rank 12 beasts, and only a few of them could turn into fog. As a result, only rank 8 sects and higher possessed them. If an origin beast were to appear in the lower region, a massive fight for it would occur. After all, an origin beast meant origin crystals. Wang Lin stepped into a city on one of the floating stones with Li Qianmai. The city was open and there were a lot of cultivators within. Some had even paid the treasured jade sect spirit stones to open up their own booths to do business. This is the outer perimeter, and it is fairly lively. Li Qianmai walked beside Wang Lin and looked around. This place was very lively, and the sounds of bargaining filled the city. This place didn't look like a trade plaza for cultivators, it was more like a mortal market. It had been a very long time since Wang Lin had visited a market like this. As he walked through the city, his gaze fell on a stall not far away. Fellow cultivators, I don't have that many celestial jades. How about I add a pill? There was an old man sitting behind the stall. He had a gloomy expression as he looked at a middle-aged man before him. These words came from the middle-aged man. I can refine my own pills, they are useless. 70 celestial jades for one origin crystal, this is my limit. The old man's gaze turned cold as he spoke. Then he no longer paid any attention to the middle-aged man. In the Cloud Sea, cultivators could freely exchange celestial jades and origin crystals at a certain rate. After hearing those words, Wang Lin subconsciously touched where his bag of holding was. Although it was empty, Wang Lin felt very strange. Even he didn't know how many celestial jades he had in his storage space. Just at this moment, a voice filled with surprise came from the distance. Qian Mai. It's really you. Following the voice were 3 cultivators. The person in front was about 30 years old. He wore a green shirt and was handsome. He had a slender body and surprise filled his eyes as he walked over. The 2 following him were also very handsome. Their cultivations were fluctuating, revealing that they weren't weak. Li Qianmai frowned slightly but quickly relaxed and said, "So it's fellow cultivator Yang." The man in green closed in and didn't even look at Wang Lin before smiling at Qianmai. "We only met a few months ago, but I already miss you. Fortunately, we were able to meet again today. Qianmai, this place is noisy, how about we go into the inner city?" The man's voice was gentle and there was a certain charm to it. "Thanks, fellow cultivator Yang, for your kindness, but please excuse me." Li Qianmai's voice was calm, but it was also cold. "Qianmai, you," the man in green walked up a few steps and was about to speak. "Fellow cultivator Yang, please pay attention to what you say. Qianmai is not something you can say." Li Qianmai frowned and revealed anger. This Yang Yu was one of the people she had questioned, but she was not satisfied with his answer. Yang Yu raised his eyebrows. He naturally saw Wang Lin beside Li Qianmai. He wouldn't dare to provoke Li Qianmai, but he didn't care about anyone else. Yang Yu stared at Wang Lin and coldly said, "Who are you?" Wang Lin coldly looked at the man in green. This person was at the mid-stage of Nirvana Scrya, and although he looked handsome, there was a sense of gloominess about him. His 2 companions behind him were both Nirvana Cleanser cultivators, and they were standing in an odd position. While the man in green was speaking, they moved to the side and surrounded Wang Lin. However, as Wang Lin looked over, only the man in green remained calm. The pupils of the 2 Nirvana Cleanser cultivators shrank and revealed tension and dread. After withdrawing his gaze, Wang Lin didn't even look at the man in green and went toward the old man sitting at the side. The middle-aged man bargaining with the old man had already left. Not only him, all the surrounding cultivators had noticed that something was wrong and had all scattered. The old man at the stall was calm and was looking at Wang Lin. "Fellow cultivator, how many origin crystals do you have?" Wang Lin spoke very casually and looked at a jade token that was around the waist of the old man. The old man's face twitched and smiled. "Not much, only 1, however, I only want celestial jades and nothing else." Wang Lin's eyes lit up as his lips moved and he sent a message to the old man. The old man was startled for a moment and looked at Wang Lin for a while. He then revealed a look of bewilderment. Wang Lin's right hand reached out and his storage space opened. His hand reached inside and took out a bag of holding. Although Nirvana Cleanser cultivators didn't need storage bags, they would still use it during trades for the sake of privacy. He wiped the divine sense off the bag and threw it at the old man. Then Wang Lin calmly said, "This is the deposit." The old man caught the bag of holding and carefully scanned it with his divine sense. He then looked meaningfully at Wang Lin before silently pondering for a bit and cleaning up his stall. He said, "I'll look for you within 3 days." After he finished, he was about to leave, but he paused for a moment to look at Wang Lin and sent out a message. "Fellow cultivator is decisive. My name is Ouyang Long. I'll consider fellow cultivator my friend. This man in green is Yang Yu, and he is the 3rd disciple of the Devil Collection sect master. Fellow cultivator, be careful when dealing with this." After sending out the message, the old man quickly left and didn't ask how to contact Wang Lin at all. Wang Lin also didn't question this. Outsiders couldn't hear what Wang Lin and old man had said. Yang Yu saw that Wang Lin had only talked with the old man for a moment and caused the old man to leave. He became even more cautious. As for the 2 cultivators surrounding Wang Lin, they became even more nervous. Yang Yu's eyes lit up and he said, "You sure have guts. You haven't answered my question. Let your lord come out and speak to me." Although Wang Lin's expression was calm, his words were ice cold. When it landed on their ears, it was like a thunderous explosion. The two early-stage Nirvana cleanser cultivators' expressions changed greatly. Yang Yu's pupils shrank and he was about to speak. However, just at this moment, he moved like lightning and immediately arrived next to the cultivator on the left. This cultivator had been on guard this whole time and quickly retreated as his hand formed a seal. A giant red flower suddenly appeared, and it bloomed to more than 100 feet wide. The center opened up, revealing a mouth filled with teeth that tried to devour Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression was neutral, and he stepped forward instead of retreating. He disappeared without a trace and the flower devoured nothing. Wang Lin appeared behind the cultivator and his two fingers landed on the cultivator's back. A muffled bang echoed, then the cultivator's face turned pale and he coughed out blood. The flower before him collapsed and he flew out like a kite with a broken string. He fell onto the ground in the distance and smashed a stall. Just at this moment, the cultivator on the right retreated and waved his hand to summon 7 flying swords. The 7 swords quickly flew at Wang Lin. Wang Lin suddenly looked over, then his eyes revealed a strange light and he said one word. Dao. His eyes suddenly changed. His left eye was like a hazy illusion, while his right eye contained lightning that could shatter iron and split the earth. The two different gazes flew out like swords and imprinted in the eyes of the retreating cultivator. The cultivator's body suddenly trembled and the flying swords went out of control. His eyes turned blurry and his heart pounded. It was as if he had entered a nightmare he couldn't escape. Hallucinations appeared, and he couldn't distinguish between real and fake. Blood came out from the corner of his mouth and his eyes were bloodshot. He held his head, screaming as if he had gone crazy. This scene caused the surrounding cultivators to gasp. All of this was very fast and ended in a flash. Wang Lin hadn't killed these two cultivators, but they were already useless. Li Qianmai watched all of this and her eyes lit up. This was the first time she had seen Wang Lin attack. Everything had happened smoothly and without any hesitation. Yang Yu's face was pale. He silently pondered as he looked at Wang Lin. The screams of his fellow sect members echoed in his ears and tore his mind. Just at this moment, Wang Lin turned to look at Yang Yu. His eyes were calm, as if what had just happened was like crushing an ant. That cold gaze made Yang Yu's mind tremble. Wang Lin slowly walked toward Yang Yu step by step. Back then, Lu Yunsong had borrowed the power of the world and used his Dao to suppress something. Although it failed on Wang Lin understood this method of attack. Given Wang Lin's understanding of Dao, it was easy for him to grasp the meaning and make it his own spell. Every step he took synced with Yang Yu's heartbeat. This made Yang Yu's heart thump on every step. In no more than 10 steps, Yang Yu's face turned even more pale. As his heart pounded with each step, Wang Lin became larger in his eyes and came crashing down like a mountain. However, Yang Yu didn't retreat. The veins on his face swelled as he stared at Wang Lin. He struggled to let out a roar and his hair moved without any wind. However, he no longer had the gracefulness he had before. Wang Lin let out a cold snort. His steps had completely fused with Yang Yu's heartbeat, and Yang Yu's heart was under Wang Lin's domain's complete control. Wang Lin lifted his right foot, but as it fell, he stopped it in midair. Due to Wang Lin's domain, Yang Yu's heart unexpectedly stopped. Just at this moment, Wang Lin suddenly landed and sped up. He took 3 steps in a row. Bang, bang, bang. The moment those 3 steps landed, Yang Yu felt like a heavy hammer had smashed into his chest 3 times. His body trembled, his face turned ruddy, and he coughed out a mouthful of blood. He wasn't able to resist Wang Lin's domain and was pushed back. Just after he retreated 1 step, he coughed out another mouthful of blood. He continued to retreat and his ruddy face turned pale once more. There was confusion and struggle in his eyes. In the blink of an eye, his eyes were bloodshot. Illusions appeared in his mind one by one. These were scenes of him and his fellow sect members dying in countless different ways. He knew that this was false, but he couldn't clear his mind. These illusions were like memories that were engraved into his mind and became more real each second. Yang Yu's body trembled violently as he held his head. He didn't scream, but he continued to struggle. He was losing his clarity and confusion was taking over. Seeing that he was about to be lost inside the illusion, Yang Yu continued to retreat and called for help. "Uncle Master, save me." The moment he spoke, a green shadow arrived before Yang Yu. His finger mercilessly pointed to between Yang Yu's eyebrows. Popping sounds came from his body and blood mist erupted, then he fell to the ground unconscious. This green shadow didn't stop and in a flash arrived next to another cultivator. He used the same spell and caused the screaming cultivator to pass out. As the green shadow moved, he arrived in front of Yang Yu and pointed his finger at him. The green shadow was an old man. He had a head of white hair and his eyes were shining with power. "What are you looking for me for?" Wang Lin was calm as he looked at the old man. The old man revealed no emotion as he looked at Wang Lin for a while and smiled. "Fellow cultivator Lu is indeed smart. This old man is indeed looking for you, so I hope fellow cultivator doesn't mind I was a bit reckless. How about we find a place to site to allow this old man to make amends?" Wang Lin's expression remained the same as he looked at the old man. After pondering for a bit, Wang Lin nodded. Wang Lin was already as cunning as the devil, and when Yang Yu first appeared, Wang Lin noticed that Yang Yu was clearly looking at him. Then Yang Yu arrived and started pretending to catch up with Qian Mai. He even saw through that when Yang Yu pretended to catch up with Qian Mai, the other two weren't able to hide their nervousness. If this was it, that would be fine, but that Yang Yu had quickly pointed his word at Wang Lin. Given Yang Yu's cultivation level, it seemed a bit contrived for him to do this. After seeing through the clues and with the reminder of Ouyang Long, Wang Lin knew that Yang Yu had been targeting him. He had only dealt with the Devil Collection sect once, and that was Zhao Yu on the continent of Mo Luo. However, it was only Wang Lin's gaze. Wang Lin wasn't sure if the other party was testing his strength due to the matter with Zhao Yu or the flaw left on the wild continent. However, no matter what, the cultivation world respected the strong. Showing his cultivation level would not only be a deterrent to others, it would also allow him to gain respect. After realizing this, Wang Lin instantly chose to attack. After hearing the old man say, "Fellow cultivator Lu," Wang Lin became even more certain about what to do. Li Qianmai had only cultivated for a short time and didn't have Wang Lin's life experience of fighting against all those old monsters with years of experience. She didn't see through this very difficult clue until Wang Lin said, "Bring out your lord." Li Qianmei's eyes lit up as if she had seen through something. This person's scheming is even more scary than his cultivation. Li Qianmai looked at Wang Lin with shock. There were restaurants and places to stay already in the various floating cities on Pang Lai. Although cultivators didn't need to eat and didn't need much rest, they still liked to eat. Even when cultivating, one would want a quiet room. There was no lack of these kinds of facilities in the city. At this moment, on the third floor of an inn, the entire floor had been cleared out of unauthorized people. Now there were only two elders, Wang Lin and Li Qianmai there. One of the old men was Yang Yu's uncle master, and the other one had a shining, red face. The green-robed old man smiled. "Fellow cultivator Lu, I haven't introduced myself. I'm the rank 6 Devil Collection sect's elder Pang Lai. This old man is the Devil Collection sect's Wu Qing." The red-faced old man's voice was like a bell that shook the entire third floor. These two elders were both at the early stage of Nirvana Shatra, but they didn't put up any airs and treated Wang Lin as an equal. Wu Qing had heard about what happened from Pang Lai and was shocked. He didn't dare to underestimate Wang Lin. Li Qianmai quickly sat on the side and played with the wine cup in her hand. However, her gaze would occasionally sweep past a deserted table in the corner. Pang Lai and Wu Qing naturally knew of her identity, but since she had changed her hair color, it was obvious she didn't want it to be revealed. They didn't say anything and only looked over to pay their respects. "Today, it was me who was reckless, so I hope fellow cultivator Lu won't mind." Pang Lai picked up the wine cup and looked at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression was neutral as he picked up the cup to match, but he didn't drink it and placed it down immediately after. Pang Lai laughed. "I heard from disciple Zhao Yu that fellow cultivator Lu's spell was amazing. After seeing it today, it really was extraordinary. I want to become friends with Brother Lu. No problem. It was also my intent to become friends with the Devil Collection sect. Wang Lin quietly waited for what was next. He didn't believe they would come just to become friends with him. The two of them began to talk, but Pang Lai still didn't bring up the real purpose. He was secretly gauging Wang Lin, and he was also afraid of the relationship between Wang Lin and Li Qianmai. Wu Qing listened for a very long time and eventually revealed a hint of impatience. He picked up a cup and slammed it on the table. He looked at Wang Lin and said, "Fellow cultivator Lu, I'm not good at talking in circles. Today I came to ask if fellow cultivator is willing to become an external elder. If you agree, my Devil Collection sect will greet you with great gifts. Even if you don't agree, after today, the three of us can be counted as acquaintances. For us cultivators, those we call fellow cultivator can be considered friends." Hearing Wu Qing's words, Pang Lai revealed a wry smile as he looked at Wang Lin and said, "I was going to ask fellow cultivator about this after talking a bit more, but I forgot about this." Wu Qing's attitude. "My Devil Collection sect is very sincere, and if you become an external elder, we will provide all the alchemy materials you need. We ask you act when you should to maintain the dignity of my Devil Collection sect." Wang Lin pondered a bit and slowly said, "I need to consider this first. How about this, I'll give you an answer before leaving Pang Lai." Pang Lai laughed and nodded. "That's how it should be. Fellow cultivator, please think carefully. We will await your answer." After talking about this matter, Wang Lin stood up and said his goodbyes. He left with Li Qianmai. It wasn't until the two of them left that the red-faced elder's face became gloomy. He no longer had that straightforward appearance he had before. He slowly said, "His cultivation is very strange." Pang Lai said, "It is indeed very strange. He is also very cautious, suspicious, and wise. Also very ruthless and decisive when acting." At this moment, on the deserted table in the corner, a figure gradually appeared. It was a middle-aged man wearing a Daoist robe. He was pale and had the air of a celestial. He stood up and walked toward the two elders before slowly sitting down. The middle-aged man looked outside the window and whispered, "I can't tell if he saw through my invisibility." Pang Lai hesitated for a moment and said, "Even if he saw through you, it should be Li Qianmai who secretly told him." The middle-aged man shook his head. "Is it that guy?" Wu Qing's eyes lit up and became cold as he spoke. "If he saw through it, he is. If he didn't, then he isn't." The middle-aged man withdrew his gaze and frowned. "No matter what happens, don't touch this person. I get a very dangerous feeling from him. My Devil Collection sect will back out of this matter with the jade and pill recipe. We can't afford to participate." The middle-aged man massaged his temples. He looked exhausted. Every city had their own market and there were a lot of them scattered about. Over the next few days, Wang Lin said farewell to Li Qianmai and wandered the city on his own. Li Qianmai nodded while smiling, and the two split up. Without Li Qianmai beside him, Wang Lin no longer cared to hide it anymore and began looking for star maps for sale. Back in the inn, Wang Lin vaguely saw that there was a cultivator hiding at the table in the corner. However, his expression didn't change and he didn't reveal any sign that he had noticed. It seems the clues on the wild continent have already been seen through. Wang Lin let out a sigh and became more anxious to buy star maps. However, the star map prices were very high and it was difficult to tell the real ones apart from the fakes. After 3 days, Wang Lin had bought some, but he wasn't confident in them. At dusk of the third day, Wang Lin returned to the inn and sat down on the bed. He looked at the 6-star map jades on his hand and began to ponder. Shortly after, his expression changed slightly and he looked up at his room. A moment later, a knock was heard. He finally came. Wang Lin revealed a smile and waved his right hand. The door opened, revealing a middle-aged man. This middle-aged man was burly and had a heroic look about him. He didn't enter the room, but clasped his hands. "Senior, my teacher, Ouyang Long, invites you." Wang Lin got up and walked toward the door. The middle-aged man respectfully led the way. After leaving the inn, the two of them flew out of the city. Although it was night, the city was even more lively. The sound of people talking echoed in their ears. A moment later, the two arrived at the center stone of all the floating cities. This was the main city, and it was dozens of times bigger than the outer cities. At night, this city was like a huge fierce beast that gave off a powerful sense of pressure. Under the guidance of the middle-aged man, the two of them headed to the east gate. There were many cultivators guarding the east gate, and if you wanted to enter, you had to show a jade token. Wang Lin noticed that when the middle-aged man took out the token, the surrounding cultivators immediately became respectful. They didn't even examine Wang Lin and allowed them to enter. Shortly after they entered the city, they arrived in the center of the city. The middle-aged man stopped before a refined pavilion. He respectfully said to Wang Lin, "Senior, please enter." Given Junior's identity, I can't enter. Wang Lin nodded and his divine sense spread forward before walking in. When he entered, he heard a hearty laugh. It was Ouyang Long walking down the stairs and clasping his hands at Wang Lin. "I made fellow cultivator wait. You simply asked for too much and it took some time to prepare." Ouyang Long was very enthusiastic. He was like a different person from 3 days ago. Wang Lin clasped his hands and smiled. No problem. He naturally understood why Ouyang Long was like this. Wang Lin's actions back in the market not only shocked the Devil Collection sect, but also shocked the force behind Ouyang Long. Come, this old man will take you to a place. Our exchange will be done there, and there will be some fun as well. Maybe fellow cultivator would wish to gamble a bit and maybe win big. Ouyang Long had a smile on his face, but he didn't dare to underestimate this youth in white. 3 days ago, this person was able to find him and set such a big order. It was obvious this person had seen through his identity, which already meant that this person wasn't simple. And what happened at the market afterward had really shocked him. "I'll be troubling fellow cultivator Ouyang." Wang Lin was polite as he followed Ouyang Long to the bottom of the pavilion. His divine sense was naturally spread out with caution. Everything he saw startled him, but he didn't reveal any of it. The bottom of the pavilion was completely hollow and unexpectedly led to a stone platform 100,000 feet wide. There were many cultivators sitting around it, and the roars of fierce beasts were coming in. There were 2 spirit beasts 1,000 feet large fighting each other on the platform. The roars of the 2 beasts echoed. There were also arm-like passages hanging around the platform. These were round and seemed to have rows of windows. Wang Lin and Ouyang Long were in one of the passages. This is the beast gambling arena of the continent of Pang Lai. If you find any spirit beast you fancy, why not bet on it? Ouyang Long led Wang Lin and laughed. Wang Lin silently nodded. The two of them moved quickly and arrived at the end of the passage. Before them were 2 cultivators with decent cultivation levels and a closed, stone gate between them. Ouyang Long looked at Wang Lin. He pondered a bit and said, "Today's auction will be held by my uncle master," and he invited some fellow cultivators to participate. It can be considered a small, private auction. If you're interested, you can also put something up for sale. My uncle master will begin our trade with you once the auction is over. Fellow cultivator, I'm still puzzled about something. I hope fellow cultivator can resolve my doubt. Please speak, fellow cultivator Ouyang. Wang Lin nodded. How did fellow cultivator know my identity? Ouyang Long stared at Wang Lin. If someone had introduced him, it would have been fine, but this person had unexpectedly found him while he was at his own private stall. This person was also sure he had more origin crystals and had secretly pointed out his identity. Wang Lin faintly smiled. This video will end here.